Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing a video about twin flames, the twin flame journey and signs you may experience. Quite a few of you have been asking recently about this. Some of you who know your twin flames and others who aren't sure. And I know some of you have felt a bit confused, which I completely understand, being that I'm a twin flame myself and on this journey alongside all of you. So I know what it's like when you search and search online, you read stuff, some of it resonates, some of it doesn't, and you just don't really have many places to turn to. One thing I'll say there is trust your intuition, go within, because it's your journey and everyone's journeys are different. So in this video I'm just going to base it all on what I've experienced so far. So again, some of it may resonate, some of it may not, but hopefully some of it may give you some enlightenment, and relieve some of that confusion. So let's start right at the beginning. I'm going to use, as you can see, some of my cards to just depict what I'm going to explain here. So the first thing is that twin flames are the same soul split into two. I think this card in the Light Seers Tarot depicts it well. So there was one soul and then it broke apart, but there's still this amazing energy between you both that can never be broken, by the way, because you're the same soul. Energetically, you will always feel each other, and there's like a silver cord attaching you both that I believe we cannot sever. There's an instant soul recognition when you meet, a deep love. This is something I felt, and this is what made me pretty confused initially, because I thought, wow, how can I just instantly just love someone I don't even know, really? But in reality, you do know them because this connection, this card I think depicts it really well, goes beyond this lifetime. So you've had all these past lives together. The memories will still be there subconsciously from other lifetimes. You will have similar life paths. So you may have lived in the same places or countries. As an example, you may have the same gifts. So you may share quite a lot, but you also may be very opposite in what gifts you have. That's what I've found. Very similar and very like polar opposite. You may also find once you've met them, you keep bumping into them. Again, it's because of this like energy between you both that draws you back together all the time. You're being divinely drawn together, and you'll experience many synchronicities when you meet. Another thing about before you meet, so this card you've probably seen quite a lot in my readings, Four of Wands, 1111, and I often point out twin flames because this is the activation code. You may see this prior to meeting your twin flame and then along your journey. a couple of months before I met my twin, I kept seeing suddenly 1111. And then I was seeing other repeated numbers, like 1414, 1212, and then like 333, things like that. I kept seeing them. I didn't know what it was. Now I do. Now I know it was my activation. And it will often be a sign that union is to come shortly. So if you're in separation, you've met already, you're in separation, and you see this is a sign that union will be coming again. So the connection is inexplicable, really. As I said, there are lots of signs. I'll go into those a bit later. A few more things. You may have very vivid dreams about your twin flame. For some of you, it could be before you meet, and then as you have met, very vivid. And this will be a form of spiritual communication, and it can show you where you're both at on the journey. So something else about the magnetism. Now this card in the Romance Angels always reminds me of twin flames because of the chemistry, and as I said, you're drawn together like magnets because you're the same soul. So it makes sense, doesn't it? Something else is heart pulls that I just wanted to mention. So you may feel this, like something is tugging at your heart. So this invisible string that connects you both. This is something that I experienced when I was with my twin, very close to him like this. And suddenly it was like this piece of string was pulling at my heart. It was so bizarre. And this is what I mean about trusting your intuition, because things like this don't happen with other people. Like with soulmates, for example. With that, you just know this is something different. And you might also then experience those heart pulls when you're not with your twin. And that could show you that they're going through something a bit tough at that time. Just to note as well about soulmates, by the way, because I just want to clarify, twin flames and soulmates are not the same. So twin flames, you're the same soul, whereas soulmates you're not. You're two separate people, separate souls rather, probably from the same soul family. And generally soulmates are there to teach us lessons. It will feel more comfortable. Whereas our twin flame is our mirror. So they will mirror to us what we need to basically work on within ourselves and learn. And then they'll go away. So we learn those lessons. And that's why we can't be together at that time. And when we're in alignment, we can then come back. You might also feel emotions within you sometimes that aren't yours, quite randomly. So there's another sign. Something else I just wanted to mention is, again, this may not resonate for all of you, but I have read this as well, and this resonated for me. So a connection that you may feel with their family, even if you've not met. You may have dreams, similarities between you and them. Same birthdays is another sign. Could be you and your twin, could be you and a member of your twin flame's family, or a member of your family, a member of your twin flame's family could have like the same birthday, or things like that. The dreams has been a big one for me. I've had a lot of dreams about my twin flame's family. I've never met them, so I just think, how can I? Well, of course, because they're your family as well. They're your parents are their parents, because you're the same soul. And mine have been so vivid, like I know them already, that it's quite confusing. So, again, I completely understand that feeling, but I think that is my explanation on that one. Just a note as well about divine feminine, divine masculine, which you may hear a lot in these twin flame readings that I do and other readers. So the divine feminine can be man or woman, divine masculine can be a man or woman. Doesn't matter about gender. The divine feminine is usually more spiritually awakened. So these twin flame readings, I find it's generally the divine feminine's watching, because they have an instant knowing about this connection, about this energy. The divine masculines are more, because it's quite interesting in this card, he's down here. Doesn't mean he's below her, but it shows here she's really evolved and he's down in the 3D. So he's more 3D orientated, not as spiritually awakened. But he will join her eventually when he starts ascending. So as the divine feminine ascends, the divine masculine follows. Often what happens, this is what happened with me, the divine masculine gets overwhelmed by the feelings they have, and they'll just run, they'll bolt, because they're confused. And then what happens is, as some of you have mentioned before, the divine feminine, you then feel confused as to why this happened. You might start thinking, why me? What's wrong with me? Yeah, so these issues of self-worth essentially come up. And this all happens, of course, for a reason. So divine feminine will go through this dark night of the soul. 9 of Swords always reminds me of this. Feeling like, this is what I felt, again it may be different for some of you, but feeling like your heart has been ripped out, and this overwhelming sadness and loss like this, crying constantly, just feeling this loss is all I can explain it to be. And it's very different to other breakups or disconnects, because this again was what told me within that this was something different. Because I thought, wow, how come after like more than 3 months, 6 months, a year, I still cannot fully get over this breakup, when usually I can with soulmates. You've learnt your lesson, you heal and stuff, but then you move on. Whereas with twin flames you can't, because they're still there. So it's quite cruel in a way, it feels it sometimes, because you're still reminded of them in different ways, as you know, if you're on this journey. So this is where the inner work then has to take place. Healing and acceptance of the loss, forgiving as well. Again, this card reminds me of twin flames. So one of you, or both of you really, forgiving yourselves and the other, and being able to stay in the vibration of love. And you are divinely guided as you do this. Shifting your focus from the divine masculine. So we've got here the two counterparts. Here's you, divine feminine. Here's the divine masculine, empress, emperor. So initially you'll be very focused still probably on the divine masculine. And the lesson of self-worth is to just be like this. Just focused on you, nurturing yourself and others. The lesson there, really, when the DM runs, because that's usually what they do, is to know that you're good enough and you don't need them. So dissolving codependency. Because I think with this connection, the problem, I would say, is that because you're so drawn together, it can become codependent. Because you just feel this pull all the time. So it's like a paradox, I find. And the aim, I feel, is to reach a neutral point like this, where you feel okay with yourself, alone or otherwise. So knowing that, okay, he may never come back, he or she, but I'm okay. And he might come back, and that's also okay. And being neutral, as I said, where you've forgiven and you're in that energy of self-love and unconditional love. So basically reaching the Nine of Pentacles, which is kind of like the minor Empress, being fine on your own, abundant, not needing anyone, essentially. Being very self-sufficient. So let's look at some signs that you may or may not have experienced on your twin flame journey. I'm going to mention some that I've experienced, but remember, it's different for all of us, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Put in the comments, if there's anything here that does resonate, or if there's anything else you've experienced, so we can hopefully help each other. So for me, a prominent one has been seeing my DM's name or initials. Their name has often come up in adverts and in articles I've been reading. So with the article, I'll always read the article to see if there's anything else written in that article that could be a sign or a message to me. I do believe that seeing their name can be a sign that they're thinking about you, and that's why their name comes up. You might also see lookalikes. That's another one I've experienced quite a lot, which again I feel is a sign of them thinking about you. Just the other day, I experienced this, but it was quite interesting because I've just realised something actually. With lookalikes, I've often seen them at a distance, like on the street, in a car. But the other day, I actually met a lookalike and spoke with him. So that was a sign for me that union is coming closer, communication. This person looked like him, dressed like him, had the same mannerisms. So when I got home, it just blew my mind. And yeah, well, I've just realised that actually, what that could mean for me. So that's amazing. You might see other things related to them, like a car that's like theirs drive by, or you might have random memories come up in your mind. Pay attention to how you feel when you have those memories. You know, are you in this Empress, loving energy, unconditional love, when you have this memory, or do other emotions come up, such as anger? Now, if that's the case, then there's an indication there that you've got some healing you still need to do within. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is a big part of this journey, I feel. Everything happens for a reason. What our twin does to us and what we do to them, we don't mean to hurt each other. May not seem that way, but it's all about lessons. You know, this whole journey is about lessons, spiritual growth. And I would say the lesson about forgiveness is to not hold on to the past, you know, because it's a negative energy. We want to be in that high vibration where we should be as the Empress and the Emperor for the DM. So yeah, take note of feelings that you have when you have these memories. You might even see things like that are linked to your DM, like their hobbies, for example, basketball or football, you know, things related to that, that again remind you of them. Okay, so another one that I've experienced a lot has been seeing pairs of animals. In particular birds for me, two birds, two doves I've often seen, which is quite beautiful. So it could be anything, you know, two foxes maybe, two swans is a big one, because swans are the sign of, the symbol of twin flames. You know, they mate for life. So it's showing that unconditional love. Just the other week, I saw a photo that my DM's family member had posted of two swans. So, you know, that was a sign for me, I felt, through their family, you know. You might have songs that you hear randomly on the radio, for example, or on the TV, and these could be messages from your twin to you. So always look up the lyrics. Look up the meaning of the animals as well if you're seeing pairs of animals. Something else is you may have visions. So you may randomly see their image in your mind out of the blue. And this again could mean they're thinking about you. Maybe they're going through a tough time. You might even have seen future visions, premonitions of you being together. And like feeling their energy is a big one. So, you know, again, back to this image. Although you're not with them physically, you just feel them with you. Sometimes at night, sometimes when you're just busy doing your everyday stuff, up they come. And the more you detach and focus on yourself, the stronger this will get, I feel. Now, a really big sign I really want to point out is the stag. So the stag is the symbol of the divine masculine. So divine feminines, you may be seeing stags sometimes. It's interesting, this card says take the lead, because that's what the divine masculine energy does. Divine masculine just goes for it, takes the lead. So when they're in that divine masculine energy, interesting that this is kind of like a stag up here, then they will come forward aligned. So, again, just watch out for these signs. I've seen quite a lot of stags recently on things like, on the wall, in a window the other day, online, lots of different sort of situations there. Now, something I just want to mention about this card from the Light Seers Tarot, because this was a big one for me. So I'm not in communication with my DM at the moment, but I am able to see some stuff online, although obviously we should be detaching. But again, I know what it's like. Sometimes you just get that urge, you want to just sort of check up on them. So I've done that from time to time. And this was, I'd say, the biggest sign I've ever received. A photo of my DM, and he was sat in this exact same pose, with the leg over like that. In his hand was a glass rather than a chess piece. And what amazed me the most, I saw it the second time I looked, was behind him on the wall was a stag, actually in this position. How do you explain that? I showed it to one person and they were blown away as well. It was just the way that, if you put the photo, I'm not going to show you the photo obviously here, but if you put the photo next to this card, it's almost as if someone said to him, right, this is your pose. You're going to have the same clothing on. He had like the same type of clothing on and shoes. He also had this wristband. Oh, and that's right. And there was some little sparkling lights, like fairy lights up here, which you can probably notice in this card. It's the same, shining down. So that was just amazing for me. And with the stag, it was just, for me, that promise of union again, showing me that he is going to step up into that divine masculine energy. And then, then when you get that sort of sign, hold on to that, hold on to the hope, because I know what it's like. You sort of give up, you let go, and then you get these signs and you think, wow, this really is something, it really is going to be something if you believe. So anyway, I hope you liked that story. That's my sort of biggie, I would say. Mirroring is another one I haven't mentioned, but if you are in contact with your DM, because I know some people they're still in contact, and some of you are not at all in contact. So we're all on different journeys. It doesn't mean anything really. It doesn't matter if you're not in contact. That doesn't mean that there's not a connection. If anything, they're kind of protecting you by doing that. But you may find that, you're going through something and your DM is actually going through something very similar at the same time, or the same feelings. You might be having a new beginning and they are as well, things like that. You might be in a karmic connection, they might as well. That's another thing just to mention, karmic lessons. So we will often, when we separate, have karmic people that enter our lives, and these are lessons, obviously, in order for us to heal and learn. And then hopefully come back together and unite. But again, it's all when these lessons are learned, and we're in alignment that this happens. So, just to finish, Divine Feminines, I would say, if anything, surrender to the journey, if you can, and just let go of the outcome. It's all about feeling happy within, with yourself, even if you never see your twin flame again. Now that is a tough one, I know, but ask yourself that maybe. How would you feel if you never met them again? Are you still enough for yourself? Because that is the ultimate lesson. Unconditional love for yourself and others. Healing and forgiveness in order to move forward in your life, not being stuck in the past, which doesn't do us any favours and doesn't help us to move forward at all. You'll actually stay stuck there. And remember, whoever's watching this, it's probably going to be more Divine Feminines watching this, but remember, this journey is all about you, not the other person. So, yes, we might look on social media, we might look at what they're doing, want to know what they're doing, but the more and more we can step away from that and just focus that energy more on us, that's when we're stepping up into that Empress, divine energy where we should be. And we are being divinely guided. These are divine connections, so I do believe we will come back together when energies are aligned. And this may take years. I've just got to put that out there. That although I feel unions are taking place and they will continue to take place, for some it can take decades until lessons are learned. It depends how stubborn people are or situations. Because another thing I meant to say was sometimes when you meet, you might both be in a relationship already or married. So, there's sometimes obstacles there. So don't be in a waiting energy, be in the Empress energy. Just, abundant, nurturing, unconditional love. So I hope that's helped. I might not have mentioned everything here, I'm sure. I just sort of mentioned the most pertinent things that I just wrote down this morning, and then I've just done this impromptu. But I really hope it's resonated and helped give some enlightenment to some of you about your journeys and about what this is. I'm always here as well to listen. As you know, I do twin flame readings. I do private twin flame readings as well, where I look in detail at the synastry in both of your charts, including North Node, South Node, which shows karma. And then I'll look in detail at both of your energies and where you're at. So, reach out if any of you are interested in that as well. Okay, everyone, so I'm wishing you peace, love and light on your journeys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.